You're not gonna get the. There we go.
Yeah. Hello, Crystal. How are you, ma'am?
Hey, how are you? Another week in the fall, and we're back again.
There we go. There we go. I was supposed to be rich by now.
I know. It's
Okay.
coming.
Um, as always, I'm super excited about our topic: things to avoid um, when the market is going really well. We usually talk about. Actually, no, we rarely talk about things to avoid. Well, maybe we do. I guess we talk about them in different words. But
Well, we
anyway,
used to talk about. Remember the things. Don't be that guy in the
don't be that.
early, in the beginning of life. So this is like a don't be that guy one. How about that?
Yes, a big time. Don't be that guy. So this time, instead of like last time, I'm going to read your bio, and then we can jump in to things that you should not do when the market is booming. Sound good?
Okay. Sounds good.
Here we go. So, everyone, please join me in welcoming my friend and colleague Crystal Mitchell to our little podcast here. Crystal is a business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions, a co director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's the co host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, a weekly online radio show, and an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College. She's also a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Hey, Crystal, how you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay, so last time we talked about things you should do in a bull market, and now we're going to talk about things that you should avoid, things that you should not do in a bull market. So, ready to jump in?
I am.
All right, let's get it.
What shouldn't we do in a bull market?
So the first thing we should um, not avoid is rebalancing. So the first thing that, because sometimes we think, oh, things are going great, why should I change them? And we don't rebalance our portfolio, and we end up having a portfolio that's not right for us. Okay. We also end up not buying cheap, which ultimately is what we want to do because it's very difficult to time the market. So we don't know when it's going to come down. We don't know where it's going to go up or down. We don't know if it's going to go left or right, backwards or frontwards. And so it's good to be prepared. And the best way to do that is rebalance your portfolio back to your particular needs on a regular basis, no matter what the market is doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So the other thing is, and this is my second one, I'm sorry, this is my favorite one, and that is avoid making emotional decisions, right? So something is going down, you take that knee-jerk reaction, get out of that. Something is going up, you get that knee-jerk reaction, get in there, right? Don't do that. That will hurt you eventually. One of my colleagues said to me, my portfolio isn't doing anything. I need to change it. And I thought to myself, you may need to change your portfolio, but it not doing anything is not the reason. The reason you need to change your portfolio is so that you can take advantage of market upturns and downturns. And that's the way we want to think. How do I take advantage of this situation? Right? Not, oh, this is what's going on. Because for most of us, by the time we look at our portfolio and see that something's going on with it, it's already happened. Right? That's already happened. Our portfolio's already gone down. So we can't fix that. But what we can do is work smarter. And that means rebalance your portfolio. Don't react emotionally. Rest, take a few minutes. breathe, I guess is the way to go. Take a few minutes and breathe.
And I guess, if you're not in the financial industry or as a retirement plan advisor or in the stock market, for the average human being, when they've bought their stock or whatever, even outside of a plan. That is one of the hardest things to do, is to rebalance. So something that you have, even though you can look at it and go, okay, it's losing money, but what if it goes back up, right? And I, soon as I take it out, soon as I soon as I rebalance, it's going to shoot to the sky. And then what happens? And I think, and I'm sure you've had that conversation with numerous of your clients, but I don't know.
I've done it. I've been in those shoes.
You've been in those. It just feels
yeah.
like soon as you come out, that's it. It's gonna like become the top stock in the whole marketplace.
Yes. It's so true. And I would say that even as I'm a contrarian, right, still, I believe myself as a contrarian type of investor where I want to invest the opposite of the market, right? So
right.
If this part of the market is going up, I want to invest someplace else so that I can ride it up.
Right.
And then profit when it goes up. I like to buy low and sell high. So it's very difficult to buy low and sell high if the market keeps going up. So as much as we like upturns, we need that downside. We need to be able to get in there and buy cheap. And, we've talked a little bit about investments that don't allow you to buy cheap, or they only allow you to buy a little cheaper. Let's put it that way, right? There are investments out there that you don't lose money. You just stay where you are. Most Americans don't save the way they should, right? And most Americans make the decisions emotionally as to where they should put their money, right? So that's two things that are hurting us. So when the market goes down in a certain point, at a certain sector, when the market goes down, that's your opportunity to buy cheap. Number one, buy cheap when the market goes down. So avoid not rebalancing. I guess rebalancing is pretty important. So don't not rebalance because things are going well, right? Things are going well, rebalance, all right? Because we want to buy cheap. You think about it this way, if you can only afford to put $100 into the market and each thing that you buy costs $95, that's maybe you're buying 4 things at a time. But if something only costs $25, then now you can buy 4 of those things, right? You can get 4 of those things for each $100.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Something that's worth $25 could eventually be worth $95. That's where we make the money. We don't make the money when something is $95 and it goes up to $100.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. No. Exactly.
So buy low, sell high. That's rebalancing, and that works especially in a up market, just like it works in a down market. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is if you're in a 401k plan and they have a match and the market is booming, get the match. Don't think about not getting the match. Get the match. Did I say that loud enough? Get the match.
Emphatic enough? Get the match.
Get the match. Now, some people will say, well, I don't want to get into the 401k plan because they know what's going on with that money. They gave me the money. They're controlling it. All kinds of reasons why people don't want to get the match. If your company offers a match and the market is booming, in this situation it is, then you need to get that match. If you don't at least get the match, you're in effect telling your organization, you know what? I know you want to give me this extra money. I don't want it. You just hang on to it, right? If you want to give yourself a raise, get the match. Okay?
Get the match.
Get the match. We should get a t-shirt that says get the match. Okay. So sometimes folks will say to me, well, my company doesn't match. Why should I even invest in the 401k plan? So now this is what they're saying to me. They're saying my company doesn't match. Why should I get into the 401k plan? The market is booming. I guess that's a different scenario. So let's back that scenario up.
Okay.
The market is booming.
Mm-hmm.
The company matches 100% of the first 3 that you put in, 50% of the next 2. Let's just say that. That's the typical safe harbor match. Let's just say that. You're only putting in the 2%, right? Instead of putting
Mm-hmm.
4 so you can get the whole, or 5 so you can get the whole match. You're leaving money on the table. Right?
Mm.
Okay. It's tough to grasp this for some people, but it's not your organization's responsibility to save for your retirement. Those days are gone,
Mm.
right? Saving for your retirement is your responsibility. If your organization is going to help you with a match, then you want to take advantage of that, right? The federal government is going to help you by reducing your tax liability. If you want, they'll do that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do that traditionally. If your company is going to help you by providing a match, take advantage of it. Don't leave that money on the table. Get that match. Okay. And I can't emphasize that enough. And you may say, okay, well, all right, I can't afford to put in 10 to 15%, right? I can only afford to put in 5%, but the market is booming, so I should be okay. Don't do
Mm-hmm.
that. Don't do that. That doesn't make sense. Don't do that.
Mm.
I don't even
Mm.
know what to say about it. Just don't do that.
Just don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't do that.
So you want to get the match, get what's coming to you. And most Americans, because they usually don't start saving until their 30s, most Americans need to be saving between 10 and 15% of their income. If you're putting in 5 and your company has a traditional safe harbor match, that means you put in 5, they put in 4, right? That equals 9. If most Americans need to save between 10 and 15%, all you've got to do is put in another percent in and you're at 10.
Mm.
And you can do that when you get your next raise, or you can do that in the next year. You can do that when your budget allows, but you are so close to where you'll need to be in so many situations if you get the match. And the market's booming.
Mm.
It's a good thing, right? By more of an increasing asset. That's a good thing. Okay. The next thing that I think we want to talk about when it comes to what we should avoid in our portfolio when the market is booming is don't overlook the fees. Just because the market is booming, don't get into the habit of not looking at the fees you're being charged, i.e., the expense ratio. You can't really do a whole lot about the administrative costs. I mean, the plan is people are doing a deal, they got to get paid. But you can take a look at those fees. And so part of your portfolio, if possible, for most of us, probably ought to, I'm putting a lot of space in there, right? For most of us, probably ought to include some index funds or ETFs, right? Because fees are still important to understand. Still, they're important to reduce to your comfort level. Now, push come to shove, if you've only got one investment that's going to fit in a particular category, then you need to go with that investment. If that happens to be fairly expensive, then so be it, right? It's better to have something that is expensive in a particular category than to not invest in that category. But in a bull market, it's going up, fees still count. Fees still count. And many fees, and I am talking about the expense ratio, many of those fees they're percentages. So the more money you put in, the more money they collect. That's not a bad thing, but the more money that you put in, the more money you pay, the more money you pay, the less money you're going to have on the outside there or on the other side. So look at your fees. Do that.
Okay.
Now, this last thing I think is super important because I know lots of people, when the market is doing great, they don't want to look at their portfolio. They just want it to keep going, right? The reality of the situation is your portfolio is not going to keep going like this because as markets go up, they can come down. So you should always, bull market or not bull market, take the opportunity, check in with your financial advisor. Say, hey, am I in the right place? You know, there's nothing wrong with taking that questionnaire a second time, seeing what your risk tolerance is. I say people should take their questionnaire at least once a year. Yeah, I say they take it at least once a year. Or, or if something changes in their life, they get married, they have a child, they get divorced, their children leave for college, whatever. So whatever big thing happens in their life, I think they should reevaluate their portfolio and make sure their risk tolerance is on point. And if in a bull market, you don't want to not do that. You don't want to not talk to your financial advisor. You don't want to not reevaluate, rebalance your portfolio. Keep that in place and relax and take advantage of the market.
Relax.
Yeah, take advantage. So
Okay.
that's
Well,
pretty much all I've got.
okay. So we did last week. We did the what you should be doing, and this one is what you shouldn't be doing. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So take notes, guys. It's very important, especially for us non advisor retired. If you're just not familiar with the stock market, you want to take advice from the experts. They know.
There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So how about this? I'll read your bio one more time, and then I'll just give you the last word. Is that cool?
Okay. It sounds fantastic.
Okay, here we go. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining my friend and colleague and myself, Crystal Mitchell. She is a business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions, the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's the co-host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, another weekly online radio show. She's an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Hey, Crystal, we just talked about what you shouldn't do in the bull market. Any last words?
And I think this was an excellent conversation because we know we read everything all the time on what we should be doing, but just being able to make better decisions for ourselves. We should see both sides of it, the pros and the cons. And then you definitely need to, especially in this day and age, making good decisions is critical to being able to support ourselves when it comes to retirement, because there's so many factors that can take place later in our lives when we don't have weekly paychecks coming in. And we need to make sure that the dollars that we have are going to maintain us for the entirety of our lifetime.
Yeah. Good point. Could not have said it better myself. Thank you, Crystal. Always a pleasure.
Same here.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will see y'all next time.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
See you.